Welcome to BSGE's 21st commencement ceremony. Please rise for our graduates. You may be seated. Just quickly, if you can, make sure that you have silenced your cell phones because we don't want any interruptions. And I just told you to sit, but now I'm going to ask that we stand for the national anthem. I should have read that. Stand for the national anthem, sung by BSGE senior Mariel Therese DeGalmo.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, once so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallant.
Now you can sit down. Now it's okay. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the 21st annual commencement ceremony for the Baccalaureate School of Global Education. We're going to begin by having our principal, Dr. Heather Burns-Page, give a commencement address.
I'm a little bit shorter, so I gotta bring that down. All right. Welcome BSG staff, faculty, family, friends, community members, and
Here's
of
how you
course,
say
the
hi,
class
Gemma.
of 2026. I'm honored to address our graduates today. I know this is a massive milestone and you're eager to celebrate, not listen to a long lecture, so I promise to keep this brief. But first, look around. No one reaches this stage alone. Let's thank your faculty and staff, your families, your friends, and your classmates who carried them through. Let's give them a round of applause. Today is a big deal. Whether or not you took on the full challenge of the IB diploma, you conquered in IB education. You're also graduating during a historic sports year for our city, with New York hosting the World Cup and the Knicks championships. I'm sure that will not be only speech mentioning the Knicks today. The energy out there is electric, but honestly, the biggest win in New York is right here in this room. You should be proud of the dedication, late nights, and grit that brought you here to this moment. Class of 26, you and I share a very rare and special bond. 4 years ago, in the fall of 22, we walked through the doors of BSGE together as high school rookies. For those of you who were here for 6 years, you weathered remote learning in middle school. But in 22, we all entered high school together. You're a massive class. So big, we didn't have a lot of space for you at first. In fact, you had the distinct honor of having your own exclusive lunch period for 4 years. While you were nervous ninth graders trying to figure out high school, I was a nervous new principal trying to remember names, navigate the building, and learn the culture. We learned the rules together, including the fact that no, you really can't go out for lunch if you forgot your ID and you were late to school. Because we started together, I've had the privilege of watching your journey into the confident, passionate leaders, thinkers, and change makers sitting here before me today. I've cherished these 4 years, from trying to squeeze you into ninth grade classrooms, watching World Cup games with you during freshman year during lunch, cheering you on at your PSAL games, watching you sing your hearts out when we have karaoke Fridays, even traveling to South Korea with many of you. I loved seeing you dressed up at prom, celebrating at senior luncheon, and every time you stopped by my office to pitch an idea, ask a question, or check if I had candy. I'm out of candy. I'll have more when you come back and visit in the fall. As you step out into this world, you're going to encounter transition periods again. Wherever you head next, there will be moments where you feel like a beginner all over again. My advice to you is simple. Give yourself grace during these transitions. Even the most successful people had moments where they stumbled or fell out of their depth. It's entirely okay not to have everything figured out on day one. The secret to success isn't knowing all the answers immediately. It's having the resilience to show up, adjust, lean on the people around you, and figure it out as you go. You proved you can do that here at BSGE, and you'll do it again. Keep being the global citizens and compassionate human beings BSG taught you to be. Explore the world, listen to perspectives different from your own, and always leave the spaces you inhabit a little bit better than you found them. As I conclude, please remember BSG is your forever home. Come back and visit with us. Volunteer, student teach, join our alumni network on LinkedIn to stay connected. And of course, join our Alumni Association once it's up and running to help support future generations, especially as we look forward to our new school building. Yes, it's finally happening. Future BSG classes will experience the legendary mythic gym that we've always dreamed about. I'm sorry your class missed it, but you officially can come back and brag about how you survived our cramped hallways and those gym days inside when it snowed. Look how far you've come since our first days together in 22. If I haven't told you lately, you're doing great and I'm proud of you. And don't tell anyone, but you're my favorite graduating class of BSGE so far. Congratulations, class of 2026. At this time, I'm honored to introduce Antrina Leith from the IBO, who's here to give you the keynote speech.
everyone. How are you today? Very good. I'm happy to hear that. Well, good afternoon, families, friends, educators, and most importantly, good afternoon to the 2026 Baccalaureate School for Global Education graduating class. Give yourself a round of applause. Let's start. Now, I know you're doing the math on how many more minutes until you get to that part that you've earned to stand up, walk across this stage, and hold dearly to that recognition you so deserve. But stick with me for a few minutes. That's coming, I'm sure. I want to start first by sharing a word with you, and that word is sincere. When you reflect on that word, it may describe the person you strive to be, or the person you already are, or what you look for in friendships. And you should anchor to that. That's really important. But when you hear the word sincere, you might also think to yourself, Melanie, what is really going on in this villa? Does that land with anyone? No. But as I sat down to write this speech, there was a different word that I kept coming back to that had important meaning. And that word was distracted. From the moment your remarkable principal, Dr. Page, asked if I would give a graduation speech, I had a plan. That plan was to talk about staying focused and being on task and preparing for the next chapter of your life. Very on brand for a room full of students getting ready to move on to the next big thing. Especially those students who engaged in IB, managing their time, meeting deadlines, and for some, maybe even completing your EE 3 weeks early. But then I got distracted repeatedly. And of course, my social media algorithm has all sorts of reasons why I'm easily distracted, but I'll put that aside for a minute. Instead, I started to think about a conversation I was having with Dr. Page one day about IB and work stuff, and how we then began to have an exchange about dresses from a designer I had never heard of, but now that I absolutely love. I started thinking about a visit I had to BSGE about a month ago, and the time I spent with a few students. Hello, Kendall, Evan, Fabiha, Samba Cruz, Maddie, and Kenzie, thank you. During our time together, our conversations went from music to their future experiences that they hope to have, to even advice they would give adults in the room. Even recently, in a state of distraction, I got on the wrong train, but then bumped into a friend that I hadn't seen in 10 years. My most probably interesting story about distraction is I was using what I would now call an iPhone 0, and the GPS wasn't quite working well, and somehow I stumbled upon an arena, and who was inside but Rihanna performing at a concert. Found myself a reasonable price ticket somebody was selling outside, and before I knew it, I was in a room, a single seat, with thousands of other people singing Umbrella at the top of my lungs. And then I realized that's actually the speech that I want to share today and the information I'd like to give you. I want to talk about distractions, not in the way we typically view distractions, as the enemy of a well-lived life, but maybe, just maybe, in the framing of life's best features. Now, I understand distractions have a bad reputation. Usually when we talk about distractions, it's the thing that's standing between you and your homework assignment, or the notification that pulls you away from that text you were just about to finish reading. It's the thing that every parent, teacher, and counselor has probably warned you about since 6th grade. And look, I'm not here to tell you that texting about Zendaya's new movie or Taylor Swift's New York City wedding plans during a chemistry review class is a growth opportunity or a vibe. There is a time and a place to be focused. But I think we can agree that just because something is unplanned, off script, or pulls away from the plan, it doesn't inherently make it bad. I actually think that mindset could be a little dangerous. Because I would push you to wonder that if maybe some of the best things that have happened while you were a student here at BSGE potentially had nothing to do with a well thought out plan. I mean, Dr. Page mentioned it, but let's think about our city. Whether you barely like watching basketball at all, or you have Jalen Brunson's autobiography memorized in your head, the city was in a frenzy of distraction, game after game, as the team strived to clinch a championship win that they hadn't achieved since the 70s. I briefly shared my train experience, and I was left wondering, how many more of us have a story that starts with, I missed my train, I missed my stop, I was running a little bit late, and that led us to somewhere completely unexpected. Maybe you got off at the wrong stop, and now you found that bakery that is like your whole life. Maybe you got stuck somewhere, or you were running a little bit late, but that turned into a conversation with an acquaintance who's now one of your closest friends. Those bakery blessings and expansion of circle friends, they didn't mean to happen that day, but they did. And maybe, just maybe, that was a distraction working in your favor, or a detour that became an important destination for your life. It feels to be authentic. I also have to mention the group chat. We are all in a group chat. Raise your hand if you are in a group chat somewhere. Yes. Of course, and it's like, oh my gosh, how many more group chats? You know, the one that has probably diminished your productivity just a little bit, but it can also be true that it saved your sanity. The one that exists solely to distract you from the responsibility of the day, but also turns into one that 40 messages about something that happened at lunch, with commentary in all caps and the meme that makes sense to no one but all of those people in the chat, also brought you some joy. The group chat may have cost you a little bit of focus that day, but it might quite possibly also be the thing that brought you sanity in the moment that you needed it. Going out for lunch turns into a quick conversation about everything from an interesting TOK topic to, does the world have more wheels or doors? Maybe distractions aren't keeping you from life, they were your life, the good parts. And here's the part I really want you to sit with. You are going to leave today with lots of things. The activity thing, the interest thing, the passion, gymnastics, photography, sports, debate, or the cheese club that I hear is pretty popular here at your school. And that thing may follow you into your next steps. And for a lot of you, that thing may have started as a distraction, something you wandered into, something that was meant to pull focus from your day-to-day life's expectations, but quietly became one of the most memorable aspects of your life. See, most people don't plan to fall in love with a club that they joined, especially the one that your best friend dragged you to because they didn't want to do it alone. Nobody expects that distraction to become an interest that maybe turns into the college essay or the career choice or even a key part of your identity. It sneaks up on you, that distraction, and then one day, it's the thing you might be most proudest of. So here is my actual advice. I am not telling you to abandon focus. You are going to need to be focused for the finals you have not yet taken, for the jobs that will have mural boards and deliverables sent to you, and for the genuinely boring parts of adulthood that nobody puts in the brochures. For those things, you will need discipline, that will matter, you will need focus, and you will need a plan. But at the same time, do not apologize for the detours that come from distractions. Do not treat every unplanned afternoon, every wrong turn, or every, wait, can we talk about that a little bit longer, that you have with a friend as time wasted. Nope. Some of your best memories will come from these interruptions and distractions. They will happen in the 15 minutes that you did not think you had available, or the wrong train that you did not have time to be on, or in the conversation you did not plan to have. You're about to walk into a phase of life with a lot fewer bells telling you where to be, with fewer people telling you what your day or schedule should look like. And for some of you, that might be simply terrifying. But it's kind of the whole point. Because the next chapter of your life, you have more autonomy over lots of things, including your distractions. Choose them well. Let yourself get off course. Take the long way. Because let's be honest, people rarely brag about the schedule that they stuck to. Even this speech I'm sharing with you today, we've diverted here and there, but really the center of it is choosing for yourself. So, class of 2026, here's my words for you. Go get distracted. Wander into the wrong room and find your people there. Miss the train and discover a concert. Put down the plan for just a minute and embrace the diversions that might come from it. Your plan will keep the focus, and the distractions will make the memories. I am proud of each and every one of you, wishing you best of luck in your next step, and congratulations again.
Thank you so much, Andrea. And now for the class-selected faculty speaker, Mr. Rabinowitz.
Howdy. Howdy, humans. Students, families, friends, teachers, loved ones. I'm honored to be selected by the students to represent the staff as speaker. I feel like I'm I'm qualified. I had at least half of this group for 3 years, right? TOK this year, 10th and 11th grade history. So, I think I'm gonna bring it back to history, right? We focus on these 6 historical concepts: continuity, change, causation, consequence, significance, perspective, right? On the first day of HOA, right, I asked you to think about how you exhibited continuity over the previous year and how you had changed. Now, students, I want you to think back over your time at BSGE, whether that was 4 years or 6 years, right? Go back. How have you remained the same and how have you changed? And just take a second to think about it. A couple seconds. It's more profound than can be done in a couple seconds. So here's some of my observations from a grand scale. You ended 6th grade, you had your 7th grade entirely on Zoom. That was almost 6 years ago, a third of your life so far. If you were here in 8th grade, you were on the 2nd floor, mostly in the library. Most of you came to this school in 2022 with a new administration. Class was huge at the beginning of your 9th grade. Then it shrunk a little bit after that, shrunk a little bit more after 10th, and somehow we accumulated some new members since then. Okay. Up until recently, we were never known for our athletics program, right? We were instrumental in changing that, right? Just as we all recently celebrated the Knicks, right? On a more familial level, right? 2 years ago, we had our first softball championship. A few months later, maybe because of an extra credit incentive, about half of you were there as the boys won soccer at Randall's Island. That was awesome. We have other concepts: causation, consequence, right? Every single one of you is graduating today because of your work, right? Whether it was a breeze or a slog, right? The effect of your efforts has made it to this moment. A series of events has come together with innumerable possible outcomes to lead us each to this room today. Cause and consequence are linked concepts, right? But we also need to acknowledge that correlation is not always causation. Another concept we discussed is significance. This moment will hold varying degrees of significance for each of you. Right? For some of you, this might be the last graduation of your lives. For others, this is the first of a few. Some of you may be the first in your family to be en route to college, and others may be realizing that college is not their path. Regardless, relish in this moment. You only graduate high school once, and while this is significant for that reason, it's also significant in the sense that many of you will no longer be in the same room with each other again. Right? Years of interactions all come down to today, right? A key moment in each of your lives. Finally, the last concept that we addressed in class is that of perspectives, and I want to talk about my own. At the end of your 9th grade, I was told that I was going to have half of you as sophomores. If you knew about the notoriety when you were freshmen, you know I wasn't thrilled about that. There's an expression that says sometimes it's hard to see the forest through the trees. It's really true. Our perspectives are often clouded by what we initially see, and it can be difficult to gain the full picture. And having half of you as sophomores, 3/4 as juniors, and half of you as seniors, I've learned a lot about all of you. Right? Just as a forest is a sum of its trees, this class is a sum of all of its unique components. Each one of you has your own distinct personality. Sometimes you're united, sometimes you're divided, but through my experience, and I've had my perspective evolve, and I've come to realize that the class of 26 is indeed a magnificent forest. You experienced many good times, many bad times, extended rough patches. We like to say that BSG is a family, through the good and the bad, and witness the best of what it has to offer in you. It's cliche to say that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but it works. I'm honored to have been able to share my thoughts with the class of 2026 over the past couple of years, to do it one last time today with you, your families, your friends, and your loved ones. Congrats on what you've done, but this is just the beginning. As you move forward, think about the continuities and changes that lie ahead in your own lives. Think about what motivates you and what you will do, and what the consequences, both positive and negative, could occur from your actions. Figure out what is significant to you. And remember, your perspective is important, but it's just one of many that you're going to encounter in your journey. Remain open to listening and connecting with others. This might reinforce your beliefs, or as you all did for me, might actually shift your preconceived understandings. You're a wonderful bunch of humans. I'm humbled to address you all. You're amazing. You got this. Congrats, class of 2026. Now go shape the world. But first, enjoy this montage brought to you by Maddie and Ariana and Terrence.
Clip.